everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Roy Kennedy.
And I'm Joey Evans.
And today we're taking a look at 4 new factions for Summoner Wars. Ooh. We have the Swamp Orcs, the Crimson Order, the Mountain Vargath, and High Elves. Now some of these are redone versions from the first Summoner Wars game. The Swamp Orcs, which were almost felt broken in the first one.
Yeah, they just dropped those vine walls everywhere.
Yep, they were able to drop vine walls all over the board. It was a big pain in the neck. And then the Mountain Vargath, who if you played the first one, I always said, hey, if you never played before, they're a good faction to use.
They are good.
Yeah.
Because they just link arms and rush towards the enemy. High Elves and Crimson Order are new. So we're going to take a look at all 4 factions. We're assuming if you're watching this, you already know how to play Summoner Wars. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be right back. We'll start with the Mountain Vargath. These guys are all about teamwork. You'll see the summoner here, friendly units that are within 2 spaces have +1 strength. And he's a honking beast anyway. But they all can kind of force units here. So if you look here at the Glory Caller, after you summon them, you can target someone within 3 spaces, may move them 1. At the beginning of the move phase, this guy can target an adjacent enemy unit, force them 1 space, and do a damage to them. They're pretty slow, so you keep that. And this person, after they attack and damage a unit, you can force them 1 away from the unit. So they're all about kind of pushing and pulling and moving and working together. The Shale Slinger can attack through enemy units. This guy here, when this champion, Quen, when he attacks, you do 1 damage each common and champion adjacent to the target, which is fun. Lightning Strike. This is one of the most powerful creatures in the game. 3 attack, 12, like the summoner. But when he moves, goes an extra space and through structures, and he moves through commons doing damage to them. I mean, he costs 8 to get out, but you feel very satisfied when he's out. And Varn here, you can target a friendly common or champion unit to pull them close to you. So again, kind of that's all there. The big event here, the epic event for this summoner, is you can place your summoner in 2 friendly units next to a gate. So you can fly around, you can run up and fight, and then jump back. Pull someone next to your summoner here. This friendly units will be able to move 2 extra spaces in 1 direction, and they get +1 strength, so you have that charge here, and then giving your summoner an extra strength. If you're somebody who likes to move a lot and to just run up and fight people, you'll like the Mountain Vargath. When it comes to the High Elves, they have some similarity. They're much about teamwork, but they're teamwork with everyone, so they're kind of an unusual faction. First of all, Valeria the Just is just an uberly powerful summoner. She can force commons within 2 spaces, and anytime any enemy moves or is forced away from Valeria, they take 2 damage. So her attack is not particularly strong. She has good hit points, but that. And then all these arbiters here, they all come with a special ability. Strong, +1 strength. Tough, take 1 less damage. Atone, when you attack and damage a card, add 1 damage to this unit. That's like a negative thing. But they all these things, and they give it to everyone within 2 spaces, all commons. That's yours or your opponent, so you got to figure that out. You also have the attendant priest who can heal people from commons that are next to you. And then you have your big champions, Cassia, the Gentle, Titus the Devout, and Albus the Wise. Everyone has a title here. Remove damage from commons, all commons. This one, when any enemy is forced away from them, they take 2 damage, just like your summoner here, and then he's a protector, and this person can pick a common, and they have no abilities. Oh, people hate that, but it's so fun to have on your team. And then you have laws, the law of loyalty, the law of liberty, and the law of sanctity, and these are all cards that give commons special abilities. All commons are +1 strength when they're adjacent to a summoner. They can attack instead of moving and move instead of attacking. It's a weird one. You can attack and then move. And here, summoners take less damage. And then there's Oblige. Target a common within 3 spaces. Pull someone in and hit them. Or pull one of your own people back for whatever purpose that you need. So this is all about, it helps everyone, but some people are more equal than others. Jumping to the Swamp Orcs, we have one of the most powerful summoners in the game, just straight up, because before he attacks, he can spend boosts from any number of friendly units that are within 3 spaces, and he's +1 for each boost that he spends. So he hits at a 3, and he's a 13 strength, and he can hit people that are up to 2 spaces away. So he is going to hunt down the opponents. So How do you get boosts? All the common units can get boosts, and a friendly unit ends close to here. If he has 2 or fewer boosts, add them. Whenever this one moves, he gets boosts, and he can spend 2 boosts to do an extra attack with a friendly adjacent summoner or champion. Get your summoner powerful, get some boosts on this character, and look at the damage you're going to be able to do. And the Mud Dredger is an extra mover, which is not bad. And when you add more damage to your summoner, if it's adjacent to any friendly units with prune, instead destroy those units. So you can kind of kill them. In Red Dredger's a 1/1, but you can put him next to your summoner, and he'll take the hits for you. Now we also have the Vine Mancer. So the Vine Mancer gets boosted after moving too, but you can spend boost to target friendly units or enemy commons within 3 spaces and pull them in with vines. There's also Vine Gates, by the way, and when you summon something next to a Vine Gate, it's boosted. Now they're very weak gates comparatively, but it's neat to have them. And then we have target all friendly boosted commons and boost them again, which is pretty handy. Regenerate. Pick a summoner or champion, spend a boost, and you get damage off of them. It's all about boosting. Move 1 boost from 3 friendly units to this card. You can retrieve a champion from your draw discard pile, reveal it, add it to your hand. So you can just use someone twice. One of my favorite events in the game. And then friendly boost sewing, we already mentioned that. So then we got some champion units here. We got Glurp, Splack, and Blub. So this guy is extra strength when you first pull him out. Splack is an extra moving unit, just like some of the common units here, and an extra attacking unit. This is one of my favorite champions. Not uber powerful, 3 attack, 5 health, but the fact that they're an extra move and attack means you can move and attack with 4 units. And then Germinate, when they destroy stuff, you can replace them with a Vine Gate. So you can kill people and turn them into Vine Gates, which is kind of fun. And finally, today we're taking a look at the Crimson Order, who are this evil vampire demon thingamabobbers. So this summoner, who only has 10 hit points, but whenever he attacks and damages anybody, he heals 1, and he can summon a cultist adjacent to him at the beginning, at the start of his magic phase. So he can move and attack and then summon a cultist. And he has 3 range, which isn't bad. But the 2 types of cultists are Devout Cultists and Doom Cultists. Doom Cultists are, if they get killed and they're near the opponent's summoner, they can do 1 damage, which is great. And the Devout Cultists, when they die, there's a chance that they will come back. They're not the only common units. We have a Royal Warrior, who's a pretty decent fighter. And they can even do more damage if you're going to add damage to your summoner. And then the Sacred Priest, who can also be just summoned right next to your summoner, wherever they are. And friendly adjacent damage units are +1 strength. There are 3 champions, Casimira, Sekhmet, and Vesna. This one is one of my least favorite champions. I don't like they take 1 damage at a time, but they have 3 hit points. I don't know, just not that interesting. They're cheap, I guess there's that. This one though is powerful. They can move an extra space and through cards, but they take damage if they don't destroy a unit. But still, 4 attack and being able to go move 4 spaces, that's fantastic. And this one will bring cultists back. There's some really interesting things here. Transfuse is an interesting thing where you basically are just removing 2 damage from one of your people to another person, which is mean. Convert, which has a chance to bring back cultists. Deathrite destroys a friendly unit and gives all the other friendly units +1 strength. Use that on a Doom Cultist to great effect. And this one lets your summoner take a damage to bring back 2 cultists, or 2 commons, I guess they're usually cultists for me, and back into your hand. All right, so Swamp Orcs. Swamp Orcs are very different than Summoner Wars First Edition.
Yeah, for sure.
They have a few vine walls, and they're all about boosting. Boost, boostity, boost.
Yeah, you have basically everything you do is leading up to add more boost tokens, and then you can use those boost tokens to make the summoner even stronger to be able to do massive attacks with that stuff. But it's all about trying to figure out how to manipulate your board to get the maximum amount of boost tokens so you can spin those with your other cards.
And it's really fun to play against it, because I played against it for the first time. I didn't play the first edition of this, by the way. So this is my first foray into it. The orcs seeing those boost tokens come out and being like, Something's about to happen. I always love that.
But you want to make them waste that, right? You don't want
Right,
that
yeah.
summoner to be using that massive attack on your summoner.
Oh, for sure.
Because he is the strongest summoner, I think, in the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you build him up properly,
Right.
I think. And it does still have the vine walls as well in there, but
And
it's
the
kind
gate.
of slightly different as well for the vine walls. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little slightly disappointed with that. Not a huge deal.
it does
but
help with the combos though, because when you summon next to the vine wall, then you get to add a immediate boost token for the characters, so that helps with the rest of the comboing of the deck.
Your advantage in fighting the Swamp Orcs is they have so many cool boost units, boost abilities, that you're tempted to spend your boosts on them rather than on your summoner's major attack.
Well, also, it really hurts a lot when you've been building up a character for a long time and then somebody kills that character and then you weren't able, like, it's like, I did all the stuff, look at all the boost tokens I have. And then a guy with a ton of them dies and you're like, look at all the boost tokens I just lost. You know, that
And
sort
that
of
becomes
thing.
a strategy, though, if you do kind of want to hit the area, if you have an area attack or whatever, you can get those boost tokens gone. And you want to. Yeah.
Crimson Mortar. Ooh. Blood for the Blood God. Vampires.
Basically, yeah.
This is the kind. I told Roy I didn't like this faction before I played him.
And then you beat me. So now he probably enjoys it a little bit more.
It's not that. It's that I don't dislike them as much as I thought. Because I don't know. I don't like units to take damage, to do damage. I just never. That's not a big thing.
Right.
But the fact that this guy heals.
He
is
definitely
pretty
heals.
Awesome.
He's like straight up
So
like
frustrating.
very, very vampire.
So frustrating.
Like, thank you.
Not only does he heal, he does damage. There's also cards that let you heal as well. And like this dude, Joey did a ton of damage to me in our game with it, and then I basically had like no damage by the end of the game. And Joey's like, What?
It's disheartening, by the way, when you use everything you have for that final thing, they're barely alive, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm back. Perfect.
It's also one of my favorite common units. The guy who just runs up, the Doom Cultists, just run up and bomb.
Yeah.
And that's how Tom
do
won
like
the
that
game,
guy.
is the fact that you can hit somebody within 2 spaces. And I had my Vargath surrounding my leader, where it's like impenetrable. You can't get to him, but he bombed a guy and it blew up 2 spaces away and killed my
I killed my
summoner.
own guy. He knew what he did.
He knew what he did.
But there would be songs about him.
Mountain Vargath, again. So I said in the first edition, these were the ones I'd give someone new to the game. As a small heads up, all 4 of these are not factions I'd have someone new to the game play.
I don't think those were terribly
These are
complicated.
bad.
There's a lot of movement stuff which could be tricky.
It is tricky because you want to combine it. That's what I was going to say. They have so much, force this guy away, pull someone in, force someone away. It's still pretty easy because they're just big, tough dudes.
Right. And the fact that their leader just gives everyone around him the extra strength
That's
is
big.
kind of cool. You just really want to clump them together and just like go forward and kind of like do all of your stuff, or clump them together and wait for your opponent to come to you and then kind of like knock them
Yeah,
back.
I don't know which one's better, but yeah, definitely they work together in a big unit. I like that. It gives me the idea of old Roman legion attacks and things like that.
I would say that they're the GOAT, the greatest of all time. No? Okay. I had to throw that in there.
High Elves are one of my favorite factions ever. First of all, their summoner is crazy powerful.
Right.
The fact that she's like, hey, get away from me, take 2 damage.
That's huge.
Get away from me, take 2 damage.
2
It's
damage
so
can
annoying.
kill. There's a ton of common units that can just kill, you know?
Yeah.
Or she just hits you, then forces you away, then hits you for damage. It's
That's
crazy.
so good.
But also, all her units and everything works together. This is one you never want to give a newcomer to the game.
It's also crazy because a lot of the units affect all common units. So like all common units means yours and your opponent. So it's kind of
That's
crazy.
big,
Like,
by the way.
you have to be careful not to give your opponent too much strength, or make your opponent like do when they attack you, they take damage. Like there's a bunch of interesting stuff where you have to make sure you're not messing yourself up just as much. So they're a very nuanced faction.
Spacing is very important to those guys. It's
Yeah, they're kind of the opposite of the Vargath. Or maybe
Right.
sort of.
Now they have a little bit of. I can see both. You know.
They're my favorite faction of these 4.
Oh wow.
The High Elves are my favorite, followed by, shockingly, the Crimson Mortar, then the Vargath, and then the Swamp Orcs. But you know what? I like them all, so don't feel like that's bad. I'd give them, I'd give the High Elves like a 9.5, and the other ones like 8s.
I think I'm going to go Crimson Order best, and I'm going to give them a 9.5. Then I like the Vargath, but I'm going to give them a 9. And then the other 2, I'm going to give 8.5s. I really enjoy this. The Swamp Orcs are cool. The boost tokens is a lot to keep track of, and you feel like you spend most of your games just building up boost tokens. when you utilize them, it's really cool, but that seems like that's your whole game. And then the other guys are just like wrapping your head around all the common units giving that. I need to play them more.
I would go High Elves first because I think they have the most depth as far as how to play them and learn how to play them, and that's the one you'd want to dive into.
They feel
more.
super unique for sure.
That's
Right,
the thing.
for
That's
sure.
what I like about those. Then after that, Crimson, although if you ever play against them, you're going to hate them so much.
That's true.
It took me a while to play them again because I'm like, I hate you so bad right now. So then after that, I would say the Swamp Orcs are the least favorite. I'm not crazy about the Vine thing, but I think the Vargath. I like those, especially for starters. If you
Yeah.
start off starting with them, I know they have the Ram and things like that, but like Vern, being able to pull people back, it's like, no, you're helping me. I kind of like that, bringing people in.
That
So I
is
like
kind of cool.
that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So
There you go, folks. That's 4 new factions, all amazing. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassal.
I'm Roy Kennedy.
and I'm Joey Evans.
And this is not a goat. This is a ram.
It's a goat. He's the goat. The greatest of all time, Tom. Greatest. Yeah, that's fine.
Not a goat.